Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tillsonburg Town Council meeting of Monday, October 27th at 6 p.m. And we're going to start off with reciting the acknowledgement of the territory. So today we acknowledge the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, and the Etowonderan as customary keepers and defenders of the Great Turtle Island, its waters and its land. We honor their long history and welcoming others to this beautiful territory. Our aim is to uphold and uplift their voices and values as our host nation. So we'll start off with the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Parsons.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Moved by Parsons, seconded by Councillor Luciani, that the agenda is prepared for the council meeting of October 27th, 2025 be adopted.
Are there any omission or additions to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. The second one is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. And seeing none, we'll proceed the adoption of the council minutes of the previous meeting. Councillor Luciani.
Yeah, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Parker, that the minutes of the council meeting of October 14th, 2025 be approved.
And before we call the question, are there any errors or omissions that have been noticed? Anything change? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Along with presentations of public meetings, we're looking at here tonight at a zone change application ZN 725-10 for 8 Bloomer Street, the Mullen family. This is a public meeting held under the Planning Act for the purpose of hearing an application for zone change ZN 77-25-10. This process allows any person in attendance the opportunity to make a presentation. So we'll call on Amy Hartley, the planner, to begin with the overview of the application here.
So the purpose of this application is to rezone the subject lands to include site-specific provisions in the passive use open space zone. The applicants are proposing to convert an existing attached garage into an additional residential unit or an ARU. The proposed development will not result in any footprint changes or new structures on the lands. The subject zone change is required as ARUs are not permitted within the open space zone as of right. So the county official plan does recognize existing uses within the open space designation, which would be the case for most of the dwellings along the Bloomer Street and some of the commercial businesses. So minor changes and expansions are permitted to existing non-conforming uses, and staff have assessed the proposal and are satisfied that the footprint of the existing building will not change, and the change will not have a negative impact on surrounding land uses. It is noted that the town zoning bylaw permits an ARU's gross floor area to be a maximum of 50% of the gross floor area of the principal dwelling. In this instance, the proposed ARU will result in a gross floor area approximately 62% of the main dwelling. As the applicants are not proposing to change the actual footprint of the dwelling and are using existing space to its full potential, staff are satisfied with the same base size. Long Point Region Conservation Authority has commented on the application, noting that the rear yard of the property is located within the floodplain. However, the existing house and the proposed development are outside of this area, and no concerns were raised. They have already issued a permit to the applicant, just for the rating, concerns are fine. So as such, the proposed ARU will utilize the existing driveway. The lands provide adequate off-street parking for both the principal and new unit being proposed, and there's safe access onto Bloomer Street. Staff are of the opinion that the zone change is consistent with the TPS, complies with the official plan, and is a minor change to an existing use, and can be given favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Council's read the report in its entirety. Are there any questions for the planner? Being none, it's complete and thorough, and I thank you for that. Is there anyone here present in person or virtually that would like to speak in favor of the application? And seeing none, there were no registered speakers, I understand. Is there anyone here, anyone present in person or virtually that would like to speak in opposition of the application? And seeing none, and there were no registered speakers. Are there any further questions from council members? And seeing none, the proposed resolution, Councillor Parker.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councilor Rosehart. The council approved the zone change application submitted by Nicholas and April Mullen, whereby the lands described as part of lot 1437, Plan 500 in the town of Tillsonburg, known municipally as 8 Bloomer Street, are to be rezoned from passive use open space zone to special passive use open space to permit an additional residential unit in an existing attached garage.
Heard the resolution, anything further? We'll call the question, all in favor? And that's unanimous, thank you, it's carried. Okay. Delegations, deputations, information items. The Chef's Bakery one, Councillor Rosehart, please.
Thank you. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Spencer. That council received the following information. Items as information, Scoop Waffles donation, Shepherd's Bakery. Thank you.
I should just maybe explain that Chef's Bakery has approached the town and they said for the November 15th Santa Parade, they would like to make a donation if we would hand them out. They're going to print individual cookies as they're new to town, no cost to the taxpayer. And they're going to put Tillsonburg's logo on one side of the package, which is very nice, and their logo on the other side of the package. So this is a letter just acknowledging that the council is accepting it as information. So we have a mover and a second. Any further questions? And thanks to Chef Bakery, all in favor? And that motion is carried. Thank you. Nothing from the Chief Administrative Officer. Corporate Services, Town Council meeting schedule. Anything you'd like to say? It's pretty well self-declared. Everything's there. It's all on the open council meeting. Any questions on it? Any errors that you could see? Any duplications? Seeing that, I went through it pretty close in my calendar. It's good. Councillor Spencer.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Parsons, that the 2026 Tillsonburg Town Council meeting schedule as outlined in Appendix A of Report CS 25-028 be approved.
For the resolution, all in favor? Carried. Now we're on to through the finance department surplus allocation. And maybe we'll ask Renato if he would briefly narrate this for us.
Thank you. Good evening, Council. To you, Mr. Chair. This report is to seek council approval to allocate the 2024 surplus to the various reserves. There are two different policies that govern the allocation. And as noted in the report, there was a previous commitment to transfer the town-wide labor surplus to the employment reserve. There was a new reserve created through the 2025 budget allocation. And so a portion of that was already allocated to the 25 budget. And then for the reserve policy, the remainder of it is distributed throughout those various reserves. With the tax rate stabilization reserve being the final number that brings it to the total. So 2.2 million, obviously a good sizable number. So it's good to have a surplus and not a deficit.
Very well. Any questions? Seeing none, resolution, Councillor Parsons.
Mr. Worship, moved by Parsons, seconded by Councillor Luciani. The report finance 2533 titled 2024 surplus allocation be received as information. And B, that the 2024 surplus of $2,248,391 be allocated as follows. Previously committed to the employment reserve, town-wide labor surplus, reserve 2024 539, $1,249,380. Subtotal $1,249,380. Per reserve policy 5-005, asset management reserve $197,150. Cemetery reserve $90,493. Facility infrastructure reserve $180,338. Fire department equipment reserve $57,290. Fleet and equipment reserve $121,834. Police Reserve, $4,614. Tax Rate Stabilization Reserve, $347,292, for a subtotal of $999,011. Total, $3,248,391.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Counselor, and thank you for your staff and the efforts that you're putting into this for council. Much appreciated. Any further questions? We'll call the question. All in favor? And that is carried unanimous. Thank you. Fire and emergency operations. Park, nothing for those. Potter's Gate Community Park. Counselor Luciani.
Move by myself, second by Councillor Parker, that report RCP 25-022 titled Potter's Gate Community Park be received as information, and that council designates the north portion of block 59 in the Potter's Gate subdivision as parkland, and that council recommends to the mayor that parkland development of the north portion of block 59 in the Potter's Gate subdivision be included in the 2026 budget, and that the subject property, south portion of block 59 in the Potter's Gate subdivision be brought forward for consideration to be declared surplus to the needs of the municipality.
Thank you. And would the director care to make comment on the report?
Thank you, through you, Deputy Mayor. I just wanted to point out that the Parks and Rec Master Plan does ask that parkland per residence be within an 800-meter radius. Currently in this subdivision, the nearest park is not within 800 meters, so this would accommodate having a park in that community, as well as the surplusing the south portion would accommodate gaining extra funds to perhaps put a playground in that park.
Sounds good. Are there any further questions on that? If there are none, I will make a comment. I've been up there and I've spoke with some people. I'm sorry. Oh, Counselor Spencer. Missed your hand. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's all good. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just wanted to say that, like, I have heard from people from this community and they are kind of out of the way, and I think a park would be really beneficial in this area for that entire community. So I think it's a great idea.
Thank you very much. As I started to say, I've been up there looking at it, and I believe when that potential parkland went in, all we had there was a retirement community. And then as the subdivision began to fill with younger families, and there are plenty of them, and I look at those kids and they're actually running across the street to play on the grass on the church property, which is not safe. So it's great that the staff has put that, at the request of council, has put that together in the 2026 budget to have that there. And I think it's a much needed park for the children in that area, and still a growing community. It's good, and thank you for this. We've heard the resolution. All in favor? And that's carried. Unanimous. Thank you. What we got left? Horticultural Society Memorandum of Understanding. Councilor Parker.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councilor Rosehart, the report RCP 25-053 titled Horticultural Society Memorandum of Understanding be received as information. And that council approves the attached memorandum of understanding with the Tillsonburg Horticultural Society, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to affix their signatures thereon to the MOU on behalf of the corporation. And that a bylaw to enter into a 3-year memorandum of understanding with the Tillsonburg Horticultural Society be presented to council for consideration.
Thank you. Well, we've all read the report. Are there any questions on this? Councilor Parker?
I don't have a
Councilor Parsons?
I don't have a question, a comment. I'd like to comment on the report.
Certainly.
That I and I'm sure other members of council might agree that the work that's done by this volunteer group is absolutely awesome in our town. I get comments, I'm sure other members of council get comments too, of how well our parks and our gardens are kept around Tillsonburg. And when I look at that schedule with the small amount of money for what we get from that, it's just amazing. So I'm in full support of this, and I just want to thank the members of the volunteer members of the Horticultural Society for the work they do. Thank you.
They've been doing very well for a number of years, and we're very pleased with the efforts that the volunteer efforts that they put into this. And I agree with Councillor Parsons, the comments that are made from people coming into town, and I'm sure our economic development fellow there will agree too, that when people come in and they're looking for a place to settle, it's very impressive that how nice things are and how clean things are, how well kept they are. They're very well kept. So, sure. Any further questions to the memorandum of understanding? And seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Housekeeping contract, Councillor Rosar.
Thank you. Moved by myself and second by Councillor Spencer. That report RCP 25-061 titled Notice of Contract Extension Housekeeping Service to be received as information, and B, that the proposed contract extension for an additional 1-year term with Chima Cleaning Services and her Horizon Maintenance as outlined in report RCP 25-061 be approved, and that a bylaw be authorized, that a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute the agreements be presented to council for consideration.
Thank you, Councillor. Are there any questions on them? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Good. Consideration of minutes. Councillor Spencer.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Parsons, that council receive the following advisory committee minutes as information. Traffic Advisory Committee minutes, September 11th, 2025. Economic Development Committee minutes, October 14th, 2025. Museum Culture, Heritage and Special Awards Committee minutes, October 15th, 2025.
Any questions on those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Motions, Councillor Spencer.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Parsons. Whereas access to primary health care is growing concern for residents of Tillsonburg and surrounding communities, with a significant number of individuals currently without a family physician. And whereas several family physicians currently practicing in Tillsonburg are at or near retirement age, which may further exacerbate the shortage of primary care providers. And whereas the town of Tillsonburg has historically financially supported the Tillsonburg Unattached Care Clinic to provide access to health care to residents without a primary care provider, family physician, or nurse practitioner. And whereas the city of Colwood, British Columbia, has launched a municipally led initiative to directly employ family physicians and operate a clinic model that is designed to be revenue and cost neutral to the municipalities with no additional cost to the taxpayers. And whereas municipalities across Canada are increasingly playing a role in addressing local health human resource shortages, therefore be it resolved that council directs staff to prepare a report exploring the feasibility of a municipally supported physician recruitment and retention strategy, included but not limited to a review of the Colwood BC model and its potential application in Tillsonburg. 2 options for direct or partnership-based clinic operations, including municipal leasing of clinical space and employment of physicians and support staff. 3, an assessment of the potential for revenue and cost-neutral model, including use of existing provincial billing frameworks, example, Ontario's new payment models. 4, legal and regulatory considerations within Ontario's healthcare system. 5, opportunities collaborate with Ontario Health, the Ministry of Health, local hospitals and health teams. 6, funding sources, including municipal contributions, external grants and partnerships. 7, a high-level implementation plan, including estimate cost timelines and required resources, and that the completed staff report be referred to the Tillsonburg Community Healthcare Advisory Committee for comment and feedback by Q2 2026, and that this motion and any resulting staff report be forwarded to MPP Ernie Hardeman and Honorable Sylvia Jones, Minister of Health for Ontario, for their information and support. And if I could speak for that.
Certainly.
I realize this is a big report request, so I thank staff ahead of time if this goes through. But with more doctors retiring on the horizon in the next couple of years, many folks are driving hours to get to their old offices where they used to live. Many are still unrostered and there'll be more. And the needs of our town will not be met with primary care practitioners or physicians. Given this is a revenue and cost neutral to the municipality with no additional cost to taxpayers under this model. And I therefore think it is in the best interest of our community members just to be prudent to explore this. Thank you.
Any questions to the resolution? Councillor Roser.
Question, through you to the CAO, which staff would look after something like this?
Through the chair to Councilor Rosar, the manager of innovation and strategic initiatives.
Sorry?
The manager of innovation and strategic initiatives.
Could you follow? So,
Follow.
can I do follow?
Sure.
So are they already doing anything like this now, or is this something that's gonna be totally new to them?
That individual is the lead currently on our physician recruitment, out of staff. We're looking at the matrix right now, the hospital, or redoing that matrix. And I'll be getting them involved naturally, but I'm really not that one now.
So are we already in the process of doing something like this? Is that what you're telling me? Or not?
Through the deputy mayor to Councilor Rosehart, we have a physician recruitment matrix right now with the hospital, and we're looking at revisiting that based on the healthcare community recommendation rather than just a one-tier program. And looking at multiple tier programs, we're looking at 3 or 4 different tiers of how we could fund doctors within the community. And that's what we're working with the hospital right now.
So just to follow up, Deputy Mayor?
Yes, but
So this will kind of fit into what they're already doing then? What the Councilor Spencer is putting on?
I read a little bit about what they did in DC. I'm not 100% familiar with it, but that's something that could have some pros and cons. Again, I'm not sure what the financial implications would be to the town. I think that would be the biggest, council's looking to pass this, keep in mind any financial implications.
any further questions? Seeing none, there's a motion on the floor. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that forward. And there's another motion, Councillor Roser.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Deputy Mayor. Moved by myself, and seconded by Councilor Parker, that staff bring back a report as soon as possible regarding removing the 2-hour parking limit on Saturdays in the downtown core. And I'd like to speak on that. Right now, there's only a 2-hour parking allowed in the downtown, so if you're in town shopping, you're parked in the downtown and you're gonna walk the streets, you're gonna stop and have a bite to eat. Your 2 hours is up before you know it. Next thing you know, you're walking back to your car and you have a ticket. With the holidays coming up and a lot of functions in the stores offering a lot of things, we'd like to see Saturdays removed in the downtown core. Thank you.
So you're looking for a staff report on this regarding the removal of the parking?
Yes.
Parking hours. Okay, thank you. Are there any comments or any questions on this, Councillor Parsons?
Thank you, your worship. So 2-hour parking on Broadway, was there years ago, was there when I was on the Tillsonburg Businessmen's Association long before the BIA. And, it assists the business by making sure that patrons, potential customers have a chance to come and go and shop. And so this is a long-standing tradition. I'm not opposed to looking into this, but at a very minimum, this resolution will have to be, for my support, referred to the BIA for comment. Thank you.
Councillor Roser?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The only reason I brought this on board was because this is actually only come into effect that people are getting tickets in the last maybe 6 months, but before there was never anybody working on weekends from bylaw. And it's only just come into effect. It's always been there, but nobody ever got tickets before.
Okay, for those comments. Is there anything further? Councillor Spencer?
I'm not sure if this is a question, maybe to the development commissioner. Is there a retail study of the downtown? And it seems to me Saturdays would be the busiest day for shopping. I don't know, but.
Through the deputy mayor to Councillor Spencer. Yes, we do have a retail study for the downtown. We do have traffic data as well. It's actually Google that aggregates that data, but it's in a report. You are correct in that Saturday morning, I think it peaks around 11 o'clock. Is one of the busier times in the downtown. But what's different about Saturday versus the days of the week is that we don't have roughly 4,000 people coming downtown to work with much less. So during the weekday, we have up to 4,000 people coming downtown for jobs. There were a lot of jobs in our downtown, which is a good thing. During the weekend, you have less, of course, so then the parking constraint becomes a lot less. Just because of that.
Okay. And just to further Councillor Parsons' suggested amendment, I would also like to see and hear from the downtown BIA Board of Management, since they're kind of down there every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question, we do, if I recall correctly, we do have a staff report, it might be a few years old, but we do have a staff report on parking, on analysis of parking in the downtown and why these things were there, and certainly the maps of where they were. And I believe, if I recall correctly, it was because of the staff taking up the prime parking spots, and if they were there all day, there's no place for the customers. So I believe that was in the original, so. It might be something the staff will dig out when they come back with the report, just to come in. Anything further? Other questions? Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor of the motion? 2, 3, 4, 5. That's carried. Bylaws, we have bylaws, Councillor Luciani.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Parsons that the following bylaws be read for first, second, third, and final reading, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign the same and place a corporate seal thereunto. 2025-088, 2025-089, 2025-090, and 2025-091.
You. Questions or comments or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's carried. Confirmation of proceedings bylaw, Councillor Parsons.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by Parsons, second by Councillor Luciani. The bylaw 2025-92 to confirm proceedings of the council meeting held on Monday, October 27th, 2025, be read for a first, second, third, and final reading, and the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to sign the same and place the corporate seal thereunto.
The resolution, all in favor? Carried. And items of public interest. We'll start with Councillor Spencer.
First of all, congratulations to the Tillsonburg Rotary Club. They celebrated their 75th anniversary on Saturday, to which I was there, and Deputy Mayor gave congratulations on behalf of the town. It was a lovely evening. They had all the past presidents gather. Gloria Ackroyd with the current president. Some of the portions from the evening went to different organizations, and they had 3 guest speakers from, and I can't remember the university, but they were master students in peace and conflict resolution. So it was very interesting and a really nice night, and congratulations to the Rotary Club. Also, the Chills and Thrills uptown this weekend. It was so nice to see that many people uptown all weekend long. There was 1,669 people that went through the haunted house, and it raised $2,400 with 4 shopping carts filled to the brim with non-perishables for the Helping Hand Food Bank. They had a record number of participating businesses. They handed out 300 pumpkins. I believe Councillor Parsons was out there carving, and gave out 41 liters of apple ciders. They had a record number of businesses that stayed open for the Thursday night. It was just a really well done thing, and they had a ghost tour, eerie encounters, and all of them sold out. So really well done. And then just the last thing, the Tillsonburg Optimist night parade coming on November 15th. Make sure you mark your calendars. It was one of the biggest events I've seen, all in an hour or two last year. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Roser.
Thank you.
Councillor Parker.
Yeah, so last weekend, South Oxford Minor Hockey, between Tillsonburg and Ingersoll hosted 29 teams, all the way from Tecumseh, all the way up to Barrie. And then this weekend, they are hosting another tournament, the U15 and U18 divisions, that have approximately 25 teams that are participating, all from southwestern Ontario. So we've got teams all the way from Georgian Bay down to Windsor that are coming up to play this weekend.
Great,
So,
so there's lots to do with the weekend.
going to be a very busy weekend of the arena. So
Good news, thank you. Carlos? No, nothing, Stephen?
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just wanted to point out a couple of things regarding the ongoing development in town. So I had a chance to tour the Soprano site last week and they're coming along quite well. Largely, the roof is covering that building. As you may recall, it's about 250,000 square feet. And the walls are going up very short. So they hope to be enclosed and well underway with their interior work before winter. And so it's good to see that project, which has been facilitated, of course, by many departments across the town. A number of other things as well. There's been some funding announcements to Wellmaster through the Ontario government and also to the other company was Future Transfer. The town was able to provide letters of support for their applications, and now we're seeing that those be announced. So it's good news for the economy, notwithstanding some of the economic tailwinds that are hitting us.
We're nice to hear the good news. Thank you very much. No, nothing? Thank you. No. Councilor Lucien?
Not too much, other than just saying that a great job on the Founders Fest. It was well attended and a great job. They did a good.
We have to wait 200 years before the next one.
For the next one, I know, I'm glad I caught this one.
Kind word. Councilor Parsons.
thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Laura? CEO? No? Nothing? Okay. The only thing that I want to bring up is this Friday, Cephas and I are attending the Auto Bears meeting that comes up. No, it's next Friday, isn't it? Week from Friday. November 7th, I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
In Cambridge. You know, with, you just brought out the good news and I'm not gonna touch the bad news, but I do believe the auto mayors wish to make a statement. The communities that have mayors and staff that are somewhat dependent on the auto industry are gonna have lots to say to carry forward to the provincial and federal government. It's a good lobby group and I think it's important that we attend. Anyway, all that said, happy Halloween, please be safe. And we'll ask for the final motion from Councilor Parker.
moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Rosehart that tonight's council meeting be of October 27th, 2025 be adjourned at 6:32 p.m.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Thank you and good night.